Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy Josh out,
It's your boy Tay.
and this is another episode of Sports Talk Tay and Josh. And on this episode, we're going to review Last of Us episode 5, which might be one of the GOAT episodes so far. I'm just saying it. Spoilers alert. I'm just about to. But also, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and we will discuss spoilers, slightly spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment, whether you agree or disagree. Just keep it cordial. All
Yep.
right, Tay. So I'll let you go first. What was your first reaction? Episode 5.
Um, I was gonna let you go first this time. I went last time, so
Episode 5, it was
yeah.
dope, especially with the bloaters coming out. Did you see
Yeah.
that scene, that dramatic scene when man just walked out? It was done. I was like, oh, they about to die. That's very but I
Yeah.
would say overall, this episode was pretty good. It was pretty much based on the game, similar to the game, but instead of
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Kansas City. But I would say overall, it actually answered a good question because starting at episode 4, we didn't see any affected. And then
Exactly.
it sort of explained where they was. They was underneath. They was sort of hiding like February. So they said
Yeah.
they draw them underground. But I think it may have been more to the story than they just was underground. Had to be more to the story.
I think so too. I think Fred. I think because the fact that they were affected and they kind of like buried them under, but they didn't know how capable or how long it could hold them underground.
Hmm.
It's just like they was just down there.
Probably the
Um.
underground system probably further out. That's
Yeah.
probably where in that neighborhood. So that's probably where they.
I think they were trying to draw him out. Like I think they were trying to draw him out of Kansas City, but
Yeah.
somehow it got stuck. Like it just didn't. They just was there. Like it's like they didn't move no further. They didn't. They was just there. Um. Yeah, that's what I think it was because I think Federer was trying to lure them away from the city, and then the militia group, which that's Catherine and Perry and that group was fighting them, but they never told them why they was doing what they was doing. What I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
they just killed
Yeah.
off. They was just killing off soldiers left and right. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
they reign didn't last long.
yeah, it didn't. But um, the fact that the thing that I liked about it, it showed the backstory of when quote unquote the militia, we are the people militia, took over from federal, showing how they took them out, showing them pretty much torturing them, uh, everything you can imagine when you win a battle of that nature.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing I like about it, like I said, the bloater, of course, the bloater was pretty much stole the show
That was the selling
last
point, man. That
episode.
was all in the trailer.
Yeah. Um, I like the fact that they went more into Allie with her pretty much her instinct, killer instinct, um, or getting pretty much being her, seeing her having that killer instinct, but also her actually having a kid moment because she never had that when because she was pretty much born into this world. She
Mhm.
never was able to be a kid. She never experienced it, and at least after Riley, pretty much. So this is
Mhm.
the first time we actually seen her be a kid in this post end of the world. Um,
Post-apocalyptic world, but yeah.
yeah. So I like that. Um, and Henry and Sam, man, they kind of like stole the show too, because it was literally like the game. It was almost extremely
We
identical to
already
the
called
game.
it. We already called it. They was probably most likely gonna
Yeah,
die.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we called
I,
it. We called it. I remember we said like they probably gonna die.
yeah, I was just like surprised. I was surprised at the fact that I'm surprised that they actually went through with it like in the game, because like even in the game they didn't last that long. The only thing they did change a lot of it was that most of the time I think it was like one scene in the game where they pretty much left them for dead, but then they came
Mhm.
back and saved them. So, but this time they actually was like, we're going to stay together and try to leave out together, pretty much. Um, but then you see the backstory of Henry and Catherine with how that whole beef started.
Hmm.
And truthfully, her vengeance actually like clouded the actual just to have more control of the city, pretty much. Because I think if she would have had like it wasn't thinking about so much of revenge, I think she could have had better plans for the affected that was underground. Because she knew
Yeah,
about it. She knew about
yeah.
it. She didn't tell everybody. She didn't tell nobody about it. She just went on with her business about it, like and pretty much kept it under wraps until it was too late. Um, and we find out the story about Henry and her brother, and how that whole thing happened. It was over Sam, pretty much with medication. So,
Mhm.
it was like a whole like story with that, like how that unfolded. But like you said, at the end of the day, that we are the people militia, that quote unquote hunters group, that reign did not last very long. So,
Yeah, they didn't
um,
last long. Jeez, how long they reign lasted? What, 30 days? 2 weeks?
I about to say if we go off the time frame of this thing, I think it was like what maybe like 3 months prior to the end of the pretty much end of the world. I think.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. The only thing mistake Kathleen made was that she had too much revenge on her mind. But she should
Yeah,
have been talking about the new regime transitioning from Federer to the new regime,
yeah,
and outlawing certain things, stuff like that, and preparing for the infected, because that's the first thing I did notice of the episode. Where's the infected? There's no infected people, and we later find out
they was all underground. Yeah, they was pretty
damn,
much
this
all
all happened
underground.
from a truck, like just crashing into a house though. So,
Yeah, and I mean the because I don't know if that was one of the places that got bombed, and I don't know how weak the soil was at that point, because we've seen like under the ground when they went in that house, and we've seen the basement, in that complex pretty much, and we've seen the basement. That's where the bloaters and all them were. They was in the bottom of that.
mhm,
So imagine how far they was traveling to try to get out. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm,
who knows how long they were trying to get out? That was probably one of their main, like trying to make their main way to come out that way. But then they couldn't do it because it was still, it was cement. It was pretty much, it was a street. But if you got soil, which that where that truck landed, and it so happened to
mhm.
be it was heavy, plus the fire, and it drags it down with weak soil. Oh yeah, it's gonna pop right up. They're gonna pop right up,
Nah,
and that's just showing them what happened. They popped up like zombies, literally.
yeah.
like they just popped up, popping up. You
Damn.
know, even though it's not a zombie movie, but
I
they
get I get what you're
swarm.
saying. Zombie
Yeah,
like. I get what you're trying to say.
yeah, that was a zombie like swarm we
Hmm.
saw like out of that ground. And then you had pretty much the master come out of there, the bloater. You had the master coming up. So
Those bullets did nothing.
yeah, they're bulletproof. They're literally bulletproof. You would have to kill that thing with a axe or something. There's nothing you can do like armor wise to kill that thing. No, there's nothing.
I had to shoot
and
like a missile at it. That's the only thing that probably can kill
and hopefully it might put a dent in it. It might, because
it. Missile.
because them bloaters are that's technically one of the highest graded affected. It's one of the highest grade. Like that's like a 10 year, like a 10, 15 year affected person. Like
Hmm.
like that. That's like old. Like I ain't gonna say old, but that is like a veteran of the affected.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard. It's harder to kill them than it is clickers and your basic affected. They will they're easy to kill because you can just not have sound, well, for the most part, and they can't
Hmm.
detect you. You can just take them out that way. A bloater, there is no disguising anything. If it catches you, it's ripping your head off, just like it did Perry. Like it's
Yeah,
really ripping your head. Like, there
yeah.
is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So yeah,
Well, Kansas City is pretty much no longer uninfected. It looks like the way they was headed towards the city.
yeah, it looked like they was heading towards the city, and look like they're going to be heading more downwards.
Yeah.
Um, And then we had the conclusion, which it was like the game. No spoiler, but not really spoilers. If you play the game, you knew what happened. The most man, I can't lie, man. Tish joint was messed up. Sarah joint's messed up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Last of Us is like a freaking emotional roller coaster with these deaths, man. Like they are
Yeah,
very
people,
emotional.
people. Oh, spoiler! People will die in
Yeah,
Last of Us. It's not.
yeah,
It's not it.
yeah, because it's like they really played it out like the game. Like Sam got
Yeah,
bit.
a lot of the main characters. I mean, not the main characters are a good portion of the characters passed away.
Yeah, good portion of the characters that Joel and
They
Addie and
introduce you,
Allie.
then
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So if you've been under a rock and you haven't played the game, just just a quick reminder: watch the episode. So pause it before I let this out the bag. Pause it. Watch the episode, or if you've seen the game or you played the game, play that mission over. Then you'll get what I'm saying. But this that scene is probably one of the most heartbreaking scenes I've seen on TV in a while. The
Mm,
fact that Allie, like I said, she found somebody that brought the kid out of her. She became
mm,
close to Sam. Sam being deaf, she learned sign. Well, she kind of already knew sign language. About they could speak uh, sign language, ALS or ASL. They could talk. They could talk it, and they had they knew they had a bond with comics, and pretty much they was going to go to Wyoming. Like they was going to they was going to be a group, pretty much, until they go into the town. Some old man shoots at them, brings then like shoots at them. Find out he works with the daggone militia group. Militia group comes in, like I said, truck run. Joe takes out the tractor that so happened has been the tractor that goes under the ground and brings up the affected. But in the process of that affected battle, Sam get bit. Uh, Pretty much he kind of like kept it under wraps until Ellie found out. That was the other thing that was different in the game too, because I think they was in the same room. They was in separate rooms in the game. So the fact that they actually had that human element of them being in the same room in the process of that, and it was just like two kids trying to figure out how to make a situation better, knowing it's going to get worse. Like it's going to get worse. Um, her like cutting her hand, trying to do, I guess, the vampire wave of the vampire life.
yeah, I
You
don't
know,
think making the vaccine work like that. I don't think
yeah,
it's
that's what
like
I'm saying. Yeah,
I don't think it works like that. I'm just
yeah. So she's thinking that that he did show her the bite. Saying what happens. Does the monster, inside, if you become the monster with a human inside, can you still be a human inside, or something in that nature? And that's when he showed the bite. She was like, okay, this tried pretty much a blood transfusion or whatever the case may be. Vaccines don't, like I said, vaccines don't work like that. But
nah, it didn't work like that development.
she did it. She went to sleep. Next thing you know, next morning, pretty much, wakes up. Sam just sitting there looking at the sun. Turns, attacks her. Then goes the same way like the game. They run into the. She runs into the front room. Henry sees Sam attacking Allie, knowing that he turned, knowing that he turned. He does know that he did turn. He knows it. Um, Sees that, uh, takes the gun, tries to shoot. I don't know if he was trying to shoot Joel. I think he's just trying to back him up, I guess. But in a quick instinct, I think his instinct, knowing that that ain't his brother no more, just kicked in and he killed Sam.
Yeah,
But then when reality set in, he realized what he has done. Uh, he comes to, you know, next thing you know, you pretty much, if you pretty much lose the person that you care about, more likely, there ain't no reason to live no more. And that's exactly what happened. He ended up offing himself and off screen. Off screen. They didn't do.
Yeah, they
You
didn't
know.
really show no.
Yeah, they ain't showed the whole thing. Gratefully, they didn't. But yeah, he off himself off screen. And Ellie is distraught. I think this is the first time we actually see her having that type of moment where she's distraught, knowing that
Mhm.
she can't help somebody for once, and it
Yeah,
kind of mess with her. Same thing with Joe, because they kind of was like the same. It kind of like was the same. She can no. He realized now that she's no longer cargo. She's really somebody he cares about after that point.
yeah.
And they bury him. She writes the "I'm sorry" on the board of his the sketchy board, and you see her snap right back into it and be like, all right, we're going, let's leave. This and third, then goes on to the next episode after that. But that was one of the heart that I can actually say that was one of the most heartbreaking scenes I've seen in a while, like on live action adopted shows. That's crazy. And you never see nothing like that, like back to back to back like that. Like I don't even think Game of Thrones had anything like that. Not no back to
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
back. Like,
So, any predictions? Episode 6. Any predictions you can think of?
outside of them meeting Tommy finally, and settling in Wyoming, nah, I don't think it's really gonna be too
Nothing.
much.
Nothing big gonna happen.
If it's anything, I will probably say they. I hope they probably won't do it. I think they probably gonna save it for season 2. I think they might try to show young Abby
Hmm.
before like Last of Us 2 type of situation.
Okay.
That's why I mean I think that would be the
Might be
only
more. I can see more flashbacks.
yeah like more flashbacks. Yeah, because I think at one
Yeah.
point they
So
are
why he
gonna
went to my Wyoming? Maybe a little bit more
yeah
in the past. I can picture that. I'm trying to think of any key moments that pop potentially could happen in episode 6.
um well my thing is when they're gonna show the episode of them going in that blizzard. That's gonna be the episode when Ellie goes buck wild on dude. That's the episode I'm waiting for.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Mm. Sound
yeah,
like
but I think
it could be potential season finale ish
yeah,
potential
or
or
it's
next
close to
season
season finale. Yeah, or yeah. I know it's
or
gonna be
next
this
season.
season. No, it's gonna be this season. I think it's gonna be this season. I just think it's
Probably
gonna be
leading into
probably
the
later.
season finale.
Yeah,
Probably
it's probably gonna
leading
leave.
to the season finale.
Yeah, but I think this one is just them settling into Wyoming with Tommy. They catch up on what's going on, try to make a plan on what they're gonna
Mhm.
do. Then they find out about Allie and try to see how that whole thing gonna like how that whole thing is gonna work out with her. And by her knowing that she got this, she's immune to the bites. So we shall see. We shall see. But I think this is
All right.
gonna
So
be.
what will
I
you
think it's gonna
give
be
this
great.
rating of the show? 0 to 10.
Man, I ain't gonna fake. I'm not gonna fake. I'm giving this round 9. I am
I knew
not
you
even
was
gonna
going to do it. I knew it. I knew you was going to say a 9 because I agree with you. I give it a 9. Just the
fake.
blow the scene itself was better than a lot of shows.
Yes, dude. Just the swarm of how they just popped up out of the ground like
Mhm.
that was crazy.
Yeah, as soon
And
as
like
the
I
truck
said,
went down, all you heard was like screech out. I was like, oh man,
yeah,
it's about to. Is it? I'm so excited. I said, they about to show the bloater. Next thing you know,
yeah,
came with the dramatic walk in.
exactly. And then they also gave a little bit of human side, like I guess the devil's advocate side of Catherine. That you find out her brother got killed by Henry. That's why she wanted to get Henry this whole time. She kind of like bring the
Yeah,
human element into it. Because if
it was a
anybody
method
knew,
to her madness. It was a method to
yeah,
her madness. It was a real method
yeah,
to her madness.
yeah, it's just that Method to a Madness didn't have a plan. That was the only thing about it.
Yeah, all
Like what I'm
emotional.
saying?
But
Yeah,
I
it's
agree
all
with you.
about
I give it a 9 out of 10. Whether you
yeah,
agree or disagree, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Also, leave your comments. Also, follow our Facebook group. Anything else? All right.
yep. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace.